Hello all, welcome to Advanced Engineering Physics, Crystallography 3, Nanomaterials. This is Dr. S. Deepthi, Assistant Professor in Physics, Department of H&S, MLR Institute of Technology. Today we are going to learn about nanomaterials. Nano word means 10 to the power of minus 9 meters. 1 meter is equals to 10 to the power of 9 meters. So you can see some figures over here. Our red blood cells and DNA, buckyball, hair and gold atom. These are a few examples you can easily see. So how small they are. Our red blood cells is of the order of 2 to 5 micrometers. Micro means 10 to the power of minus 6. So this is the scale, how they are arranged. So virus 10 to 300 nanometers. DNA 2 nanometers diameter. Buckyball 1 nanometer diameter. And our hair is 60 to 120 micrometer diameter, so that we can easily see. And here gold atom is 135 picometer. So this is very small. So now what is a nanometer? The study of phenomena and materials at atomic, molecular and macromolecular scales where the properties differ significantly from those larger scales is called as nanoscience. So what is a nanometer? The material which is possessed by nanoscience is a nanomaterial. Okay. So the word nano means the reduction of size by which 1000 times smaller than a micron. 1 nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter. So thus a nanometer is a 1 billionth of meter, 10 to the power of minus 9 meters. Okay. So this is where we have started, right? So nano, the word means 10 to the power of minus 9 meters, and the properties of nanomaterials change significantly compared to bulk materials. Okay, see here there is a gold atom. So the gold atom color also changes as it is reduced to smaller size. Okay, this we can observe here also. Here there is a comparison between them, a table, another example. So here an atom which is of 0.1 nanometers. So we cannot see an atom. An atom is invisible for us. Okay, like but it is assumed to be spherical in shape, which consists of electrons, protons and nucleus and so on. So the order of one atom is in 1 nanometer size, approximate order of an atom. Next, this is carbon C60 buckyball. This is called as 1 nanometer. DNA of this is a DNA diameter is 2 nanometers. Protein diameter is 10 nanometers. Virus is having 100 nanometers. Bacteria 1 micrometer. So the bacterial things can be seen not for naked eye, but can be seen through microscope. These are also can also be viewed through microscope. Red blood cells 10 micrometers, pollen 100 micrometers, sand 1 millimeter. So the one which we can see easily with our naked eye is sand and its grains of the order of 1 millimeter. Rest of them and pollen grains also we can see. Small grains we can see. What else we can see? So these are all can be viewed through microscope. Okay. So these are very small. This is the comparative table where we can understand about what is a nanometer and how small it is. This is about the introduction for nanomaterials. Now, what are the properties of nanomaterials? The microstructured materials have similar properties corresponding to the bulk materials, but the properties with nanometer dimensions are significantly different from those of atoms as well as bulk materials. So micrometers means 10 to the power of minus 6 meters. So the micrometered materials can be comparable with the bulk materials, but whereas the nanomaterials cannot be comparable with the bulk materials and their properties changes significantly. Okay, at macro scale, the physical and chemical properties are not dependent on size of materials. This is what we need to understand. So here the important concept is the size of the materials. As we reduce the size, then the properties will change And at a macro scale, the physical and chemical properties are not dependent on the size of the materials. But at nanoscale, there will be a change including color, melting point, chemical properties, and so on. The variations arise due to the nature of interactions between atoms in nanostructures and bulk materials. So these variations, where does these variations come from? These variations come from the nature of interactions between atoms. So this is very important thing. The nature of interaction between atoms in nanostructures and bulk materials. They differ in bulk materials as well as at nanostructures. The various physical and chemical properties of nanomaterials are, here are the different physical and chemical properties. What properties differ here? Property 1, high surface to volume ratio. Applications. This high surface to volume ratio is applied for catalysis, solar wheels and gas sensors. Next, low percolation threshold. This is used for conductive materials and sensors, and increasing hardness and wear resistance with the decreasing grain size. So, with the decrease in grain size, what happened here? There is an increase, they observed the increase in hardness or wear resistance, okay, for that particular materials. So, they can be used in hard coatings and protective layers. Increased resistivity with the decreasing grain size. Also, the resistivity of the material increases, and with that increase in the resistivity, they can be used in electronics, passive components and sensors. And improved atomic transport kinetics. So, as the size is reduced, the atomic transport becomes very easy, so that they are used in batteries and hydrogen storage. Low melting and sintering temperatures. Due to the low melting and sintering temperatures, they are used for material processing, low temperature sintering materials, etc. Next, improved reliability and fatigue resistance. This is used for electronic components and MEMS. Okay. So, these are the few properties, are significant changes in the properties and their applications. Next, surface to volume ratio. This is one of the key concepts of nanomaterials, where the reduced size of nanomaterials enhance many properties. Yes, in the previous slide itself, we have seen that the change in the properties led to different applications. So here also they led to different applications. So whenever the size is reduced, the surface to volume ratio also changes. Due to this surface to volume ratio, change in surface to volume ratio, we could observe different properties now. So the relationship between an object's surface area and its volume, calculated by dividing surface area to its volume. Okay, it is calculated by surface area by volume. This is the surface to volume ratio. Okay, it is known as surface to volume ratio. So the surface to volume ratio visualize the increase in the ratio. So this is the bulk material, this is the nanomaterial. We can observe here. So this is the bulk material, this is the nanomaterial. Yes, what can we observe from the first thing itself? Due to the reduced size in the material, this is increased, the surface is being increased. Okay, now what are the influences of the physical properties? So due to the change in the surface to volume ratio, it influences on physical properties of materials also. Next, influence on catalytic properties of materials. Catalytic properties of materials are also influenced by this one. Okay, so you see a small table is over here. Total surface area, height into width into number of slides and number of boxes. If there are 6 boxes here, then 150 boxes here. What happens here? This 150 boxes were reduced to 750 boxes, were increased to, not reduced, but their size is reduced, and the increment in the number of boxes is 750. So 150 boxes and 750 boxes comparative. Okay, so if total volume, height, width and length. Number of boxes is 1 box, and this 1 box is consists of the total 125 volume, and here the volume will be 125 itself. The surface to volume ratio is this is for 6:1, and here it is a 12, and the surface volume ratio again becomes as 6. Okay, what happens here? The volume increases but the surface area increases, the volume remains the same, and the surface to volume ratio becomes significant, has a significant influence on physical and chemical properties. When the bulk materials are reduced in size to nanomaterial scale, in particular, their surface to volume ratio increases drastically. This results in the change of many chemical and physical properties. Next, preparation methods of nanomaterials. How nanomaterials are prepared? So, we have now just seen about what is a nanomaterial and how the nanomaterials changes its properties when the size is reduced. Now, the preparation methods. What are the preparation methods? There are two preparation methods. One is top-down method and another one is bottom-up method. Okay. So, tiny nanostructures of materials are formed from different methods, namely top-down and bottom-up methods. Top-down approach refers to the successive cutting of bulk materials to get nano-sized material. Mechanical methods and lithographic methods comes under this approach. Okay. So, top-down materials means reduction of bulk materials to their nanoscale. Okay. This is the bulk materials. Fragments, they become the fragments. In the previous slide, we have seen for the surface to volume ratio, like that, the bulk material is reduced in terms of fragments, and that is shown as the nanostructures. Now, bottom-up approach. So, bottom-up approach refers to the build-up of material from atom to atom, molecule by molecule, and then clusters that finally leads to the formation of nanoparticles. So, when we join particles together, we are going to get a bulk material. Instead of getting the bulk material, due to this approach, these materials will be combined to build up the atoms will be built up one on one another to have the nanostructure. Nanoscaled materials will be developed by using bottom-up approach. Sol gel method comes under this bottom-up approach. Okay. So, this is one of the major things. Next, the applications of nanomaterials. Today, the world is most fascinated about nanomaterials. We are having improvised version of the natural biomaterials, nanofibers, etc. are made from nanomaterials itself. The word has become plays significant role in our today's scientific world, scientific and also technological world. So, what are the applications here? The applications have supercapacitors, biosensors, as I've said just now, functional thin films, CO2 capture and conversion, fuel cells, fluorescent sensors, drug delivery, coatings that we have already discussed about the coatings, where it is reduced, the surface to volume is reduced, then it becomes hardens and it is used for coatings. And H2 storage, photochemical therapies, Li-ion batteries, lithium ion batteries, water purification, it is also used in water purification. Okay, and these are the nanomaterials, these are the applications. And what are the nanomaterials? Graphene is one of the nanomaterial, carbon nanotubes and fluorines, amexines, 2D MFOs, arsenics, silicanes, these are the nanomaterials, different nanomaterials that can be prepared. Okay, so what you have learned in this video lecture? In conclusion to this lecture, you have learned about nanomaterials. In the next video lecture, you are going to learn about different characterization techniques. Thank you.